Where the Farris family drama seems to deepen. And that is our top story this morning. Melody Farris's former lover, Mr. Rusty Barton, is going to come back on the witness stand today. You might have seen him testifying on Wednesday about how the two went from friends to lovers. Barton said that he knew Melody was married and described how they met halfway between their homes, and even said that he was the one who turned her into police.
Gary was found on July 5th of 2018. There's a calendar right there. Do you see that Thursday, July 5th, 2018?
I do.
And almost a year later, on June 18, 2019, the defendant was arrested. And you know that, don't you?
I do.
How do you know that?
I'm the one that carried her to the police station, turned her over to the police.
Melody Farris being charged with murdering her husband, Gary Farris, a very prominent Atlanta lawyer, allegedly by shooting him and then leaving his body in a burn pit in their backyard. Prosecutors say that Farris was having an affair and wanted Gary's money after 38 years of marriage. Testimony again kicking back off at 9 a.m. We're going to go in there live immediately when it does. I've got a great guest standing by to talk more about this case. Let me bring him in now. Criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Matt Timpanic on the show. Matt, good morning. Oh boy, Rusty seems to be helping the defense, isn't he? He won't admit that he still loves Melody, but seems to be somewhat of a beneficial witness. What do you think's going on there, Matt?
It's definitely interesting hearing what Rusty has to say. It's like, I'm the one, I don't know if I'm in love with her, but even if I was, I'm the one who turned her into you guys. Not because I believe she did it, but because you were searching for her, and this is what she wants to clear her name. So I don't know if he's necessarily helping her, but he's definitely not hurting her at the same time.
Right, Matt. I've got a jail call between the two. We gotta love jail phone calls, right? You hear, the intimacy. Nobody thinks that they're being recorded, even though the recording tells them every time. Let's listen to what Rusty and Melody are saying.
I love you.
I love you too, buddy. I'm sorry you're in this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. When Chris and Scott were there, Emily was there. I mean, Emily was horrible. I was told not to keep my head down and do not look to the back.
It's showing you emotion.
Right.
That you should follow him.
Did you think I wouldn't?
I was afraid.
Pinocchio was singing loud today.
Feel the test gun.
What are they talking about there? Isn't that the million-dollar question, Matt? Pinocchio? Who's Pinocchio? What kind of game is this? Your thoughts on that little call?
Well, remember, with jail calls, like you stated earlier, they're always told they're being recorded, yet it doesn't really change anything. When hearing this phone call, it's like, it's a chess game. Okay, what's a chess game? Are you basically trying to insinuate that this whole situation where your kids are accusing you of murder is one big leverage play to get the money associated with their father's estate? Is that what they're getting at? Because if so, that's kind of where the defense should go to try to hurt the credibility of the prosecution witnesses, because they came off credible, including the victim's son, who took the stand and says, starts crying, I didn't kill my father. So it's definitely you're thinking it definitely helps the defense, because it's like he's saying it's a chess game and make it seem like it's a leverage play, because that at this point may be their best defense.
Right, Matt. I'm in agreement with you. Great points. I want to play another clip for you, and this is where Rusty is talking about how Melody told him that Gary's body was in the burn pile, and then he doesn't want to hear anything else from Melody. Take a listen.
Tell the jury what you said the defendant told you during that conversation on July 4th, 2018.
I said that she said that, this is not going to be word for word, but that she said that Gary was on the burn pile. And I said, what? And she said Gary was on the burn pile. And I said, don't say nothing else to me. Something like that.
Wouldn't you want to know how Gary got on the burn pile? Are you kidding me, Matt? When I heard that, it seems like he wants to be, blissfully ignorant of the facts going on here. Your thoughts, please.
I think it cuts both ways. One of the things here is like, don't tell me anymore. It's every word you say is another word that I'm going to be used against you at a potential trial. Remember, they're not married. They don't have marital privilege like they do in, say, the state of Florida by them just being lovers. So everything she says to him, he's going to have to testify truthfully about, and there's nothing you can do about it. But at the same time, it's like, if you're really that surprised by it, wouldn't you want more details that don't tell me anymore, unless you may have some information about it?
Right, Matt. And I think what she was just saying to him, where he acknowledged on the early morning hours of July the 4th, 2018, she said that Gary is in the burn pile. And that really helps narrow the prosecution's window, does it not, Matt? I mean, you were a prosecutor, you know that you can do the range of dates, which these prosecutors have. They're saying sometime between the 3rd and the 5th is when we believe this homicide occurred. And then here, I think this is some of the most damaging evidence coming from her mouth, that early on the 4th, that's when we know he was dead and already burned. What do you think?
Absolutely. Definitely, when you're looking at the windows, you're trying to find out who had the means, motive, and opportunity to commit this crime. And if he's on there on that day, that puts the defendant right in the area, right at the time the victim was murdered at this time in this incident in question. Because originally, remember, they thought this was like an accident or a suicide. It wasn't until they found a bullet in the victim's ribcage that they sought otherwise.
Matt, thank you for that. And I really appreciate your comments about, the motive, the means, the opportunity. You're exactly right. It's very much piecing that puzzle together. And for anybody wondering if Rusty had anything to do with this, he was asked that question very bluntly. Let's listen now to his answer.
Did you do the murder?
No, sir.
Where were you in July 3rd, 4th, and 5th of 2018?
You should have a copy of that chart that I made that tells, and I have a copy of it, but I don't have it with me.
I just want you to tell the jury where were you at.
Well, Tullahoma, my area.
Law enforcement got receipts and your phone records and
Yes.
showed you were not in Georgia, correct?
Correct. Even grocery receipts.
I bet he's glad he has those receipts. I'm Matt. What do you think?
I couldn't believe the answer to that is very simply, I wasn't in Georgia at the time. You can see I have grocery receipts. You can check my phone records instead. He kind of answers it like, oh, well, you should have the records. Like, no, this is a murder trial. It isn't for the prosecutor isn't asking the question for themselves. They're asking the question for the jury. The jury doesn't know where they were. They need the ability to eliminate that you killed the alleged victim, the decedent at the time of the incident, to help out your lover. They need to know that you weren't anywhere near the alleged incident on the day in question.
I love that analysis. Matt Timpanic, you were spot on with that. And there's more we're going to analyze with Rusty coming up. And Matt, you're going to stay with us as we head to our next segment. Stay with us at home, too. Go